Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Yesterday, there was reports running around basically saying that the Stephen Amell match, who is the Green Arrow, his match was being pulled from SummerSlam, and he was going to have to find something else to do. He reportedly was at Comic-Con saying that he wanted to do something for WWE, but basically there was nothing on the table right now. He would like to wrestle a match, but there is no guarantee about what was going to be happening in the future. Some people were saying basically because The Miz answered one of his tweets because he laid down a promo at the Comic-Con, which basically got picked up and was being passed around the WWE locker room. The Miz told him that it wasn't that bad for a first promo, but he was pretty green, but to stick around and probably follow him and he'd get better. Last night, Cody Rhodes made his return to WWE Monday Night Raw as Stardust. He came back, he delivered a promo, had a match against Neville, in which was billed as sort of a comic book style match. They got a really cool promo screen before they went out for the match with basically the guys as cartoon characters. And I thought this was a very good way to bring back the Stardust character. Stardust was able to get the schoolboy roll-up for a win. Neville ended up looking like he got really mad. For a babyface to care about one match on Monday Night Raw, I think that more than likely this is the match, Stardust versus Neville, that's going to be getting added to the upcoming pay-per-view at Battleground, trying to get a little bit more steam on Stardust, who has been off for about a month since his dad passed away. He put up a really cool picture about, basically about returning to Monday Night Raw. It stated, "Finish what you start, kid. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes." And you saw Stardust getting ready for his match. And in the, it wasn't far off in the distance, but in the distance you saw Dusty Rhodes' boots sitting there in his locker room chair. You could tell that's what he was using as the inspiration to get into character, to go out and have that match. But momentarily, after his match where he got the win over Neville, Stardust went to the back, and on a bathroom stall mirror, he wrote on the mirror, it said Neville, and then it was crossed out with a giant X, and underneath it was the Green Arrow, stating that he was having, his next plan of attack was to take out Stephen Amell, who basically, they started a promo well over about a month ago where Amell was in the crowd. Stardust jumped up to do his taunt and then just went into full-on rage. Something that, basically we'd never really seen from him before, just yelling at him, calling the Green Arrow out. Basically, I don't know if he was trying to say that he was a real superhero or what, but it looks like we're going to have a real comic book affair. Come SummerSlam, it looks like this match is going to be on yet once again, even though it was reported yesterday that it was off. I'm glad to have Cody Rhodes back. I think that having Stephen Amell is going to not really be a big effect for WWE, but hopefully TMZ and the other, nationwide, media will pick this up. Maybe Stephen Amell will go out and do some press, whether if it's like John Cena, who's on the heck's the name of that damn show? The Michael Strahan show with Kelly Ripa. Kelly and Michael. I don't know. It's not the same since Regis left, honestly, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what goes down. But maybe this could really go out and help WWE. It's not Lawrence Taylor, which honestly people look back about like it was a big time fail. But if you were watching WWE at that time, there was no fail about it. The match isn't that great, but if you watched it as a child, like I did, that match was freaking awesome when it happened. You can tell that Strahan got really blown up. Yes, he was retired from football, but he wasn't that far out of football. So you could really tell that how much, wrestling is more athletic than, playing professional football. Because it's just constant go. The match with him and Bam Bam main eventing WrestleMania. There's been other celebrities throughout time. We've seen Floyd Mayweather get into the ring at WrestleMania 24 against Big Show, and that was a big time help for WWE. That really picked up, the specials that they ran. They did a WrestleMania Rewind, whatever that show was called, and they also did just a full on special before the last Mayweather fight against Pacquiao, and they really gave that match the reason why WrestleMania 24 did so well. So here's the WrestleMania. Well, it's not gonna be WrestleMania; it's gonna be SummerSlam. Here's the SummerSlam coming up. They got a big match. The Green Arrow against Stardust. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here, talking all about one of the hottest things going on in WWE right now, leading up to the big WWE SummerSlam 2015 match, and that is WWE bringing in a celebrity for the show. None other than Stephen Amell of the CW's Arrow is going to be wrestling Stardust. As of right now, this feud goes all the way back to May, when Amell was, I believe this was in Atlanta, was sitting front row at a Monday Night Raw, and before a Stardust versus Neville match. When Stardust was making his way to the ring, he leaned over the barricade into Stephen Amell's face and hissed at him. Stardust went into the ring. He lost the match to Neville, but during his post-match promo, instead of talking about losing the match to Neville, he was caught up in talking all about Stephen Amell, basically saying that he knew his secret, that he was in fact the Green Arrow, and just sort of drawing a lot of attention to Amell of the CW Arrow's fame being in the front row that night. Honestly, it sort of looked like they were just trying to get some sort of some popularity, but it's gone all the way until now, mostly being a social media feud, with Amell not being on Monday Night Raw, but always with Stardust making reference to him, maybe sometimes during his matches, acting like he's pulling out a bow and arrow and shooting it like Arrow would do during his deal. It looks like they're saying that Stephen Amell is going to be making his return to Monday Night Raw, and this time he's going to be a featured guest, or he's not going to be a fan sitting front row. He's actually going to be in the ring, a part of the action. If you can think back, one of the things that really stalled this match after being rumored that it was going to take place was the death of Dusty Rhodes. It took a long while for Cody Rhodes, Stardust, to make his return to the main roster. Once he did, he wrestled a match against Neville, which it looked like it was going to be the blow-off of their feud. He would go out and he would beat Neville, return to the back, and then on a bathroom mirror, write Neville and the Green Arrow, crossing out Neville, making it look like he had taken this feud to its end, winning the last match, and from here on out it would be all featured on the Green Arrow. But it seems like WWE is portraying Neville and Stardust as like a comic book feud. The bumpers that they give the match, and it's leading up to it, trying to hype everybody up. They always use this sort of cartoonish font that you can tell they put a lot of work into, and it looks really, really cool. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Stardust. I think Stardust somewhere down the road needs to fade away, and I would love to see the return of Cody Rhodes. Even last night, they peeled back the paint for the little kid who's suffering from cancer. WWE signed him to a contract to make him a WWE wrestler, and I guess a superstar, because they don't like to call their people wrestlers, but he got to come down to the ring, and his favorite wrestler Stardust was there in the ring, and they sort of used him as a babyface at that time, and that was a good time to peel back the paint on the show and sort of show. WWE does a lot of these things on social media. They'll always highlight their Make-A-Wish deals and things like that, but to actually give them one segment of the show to make them look like good people over there was really, really cool. I've always sort of thought that it was kind of crazy that even though Monday Night Raw is portrayed as a show that is on from 8 o'clock at night until 11 o'clock at night, why it's sort of pushed towards little kids. I know that there's DVRs and things like that, but my kids are 5 and 7. They go to bed at 7:30. So my kids aren't even up for Monday Night Raw if we watched it when it was on with the instead of watching the live stream coming from the East Coast. So the kids shouldn't even be watching this crap. But it is what it is. You know what it is. But if WWE's going to work in cartoonish ways of trying to get wrestling matches and angles over, this is a good one. I don't think that Stephen Amell is a big time celebrity as some of the people they brought in, like when they used Lawrence Taylor or they used Shaquille O'Neal, or other people that have wrestled matches along the way. Stephen Amell to me is honestly on the CW. It's a show that not that many people talk about, but I'm sure that since it does have a comic book following, I'm sure that it does have a amount of followers that do it. If you go and you use the hashtag, I can't remember exactly what it is. Amell is Raw, or Amell coming to Raw, whatever the one that Monday Night Raw WWE is using to highlight the fact that he's coming to Raw. You can see that it's getting retweeted by a lot of mainstream sort of comic book stuff that's out there. So I don't really see comic book or Comic-Con sort of fans buying the WWE Network to see this match. And more than likely, this is probably just something that's going to be played on Extra or Entertainment Tonight. They're going to give them the highlights of the match, and you'll see it portrayed on there. More than likely, Stephen Amell will get the win at SummerSlam. But it's probably fun for Cody Rhodes to be involved in a high impact angle. He hasn't been in a real one since basically being fired from WWE and then coming back and fighting the Shield at Battleground a couple of years ago. So we'll see what happens. Stephen Amell's coming to Raw, and it looks like these guys are going to be having a match at SummerSlam 2015. So that's it. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the early morning happy birthday video coming to you as we're waiting for the store to open and for me to get to go into work. Last night's Monday Night Raw was great. They added 3 matches to SummerSlam. One of them was a little bit of a change with the Steve Amell is not going to be going one-on-one against Stardust. It's going to be a tag match of Amell tagging with Neville going up against Stardust and King Barrett. This is a little bit of a change. I'm not sure if WWE maybe had Amell at the Performance Center, and maybe they don't have the highest hopes and him actually physically wrestling a match, or maybe that they just didn't think that he was going to be able to live up to wrestling a one-on-one and people actually caring about it due to the fact that he is not a real wrestler going in there against Cody Rhodes. But I don't know. If you watched the match last night, Wade Barrett was going against Neville, and that was like a 1-minute match where Wade Barrett lost clean before Stardust came down there, and then ended up getting with the whole confrontation with Amell in the front row. It seems like Stardust versus Neville is a series of matches that we've seen going on for months. It seems like we've seen this as a singles match on Raw and SmackDown, just about both shows every week. So Amell and Barrett getting added into those make it a little bit fresh. But I know that this is a match that's getting a lot of press today for the fact of Amell being a star on the CW network. The Arrow is a big show with comic book fans and sort of sci-fi, people who watch a lot of those TV shows. Honestly, without him being in WWE, I don't really know who he is, but you can tell that you can see a lot of people retweeting the WWE's Twitter account every time that he was mentioned. So you can see that people are actually starting to pick up on this. Will people go out and get the WWE Network in order to see this show? I'm not 100% sure. This ties into the whole thing about basically social media killing WWE, a video I made a couple of months ago. Everything that Amell did last night on WWE was portrayed on a GIF or an interview, or just putting the whole segment up on WWE's Twitter account or the WWE Universe account. Very easy to find. I'm sure SummerSlam is going to be exactly the same way with them, putting those things up and getting them up there. It's almost to the point where you don't need to watch or you don't need to see the show. But I don't know. As a tag match, it's a little bit weird to have Barrett in there. I know you want Amell to get physical. You want him to be a part of the match. But I'm wondering why to make it this tag. Why not just have Amell sort of do like the Mickey Rourke thing from WrestleMania, where Mickey Rourke's sitting in the front row and then he gets involved in the match and he doesn't have to be a part of the match. But I don't know. We'll have to see what goes down with this one. But Amell's going to be in a tag match, so now at least he's going to be a part of it. So we'll see what goes down. I can honestly say about the next upcoming SummerSlam tag match, Stephen Amell against Neville against Stardust and King Barrett, I will honestly tell you that I am very surprised how much mainstream media attention that Stephen Amell has brought into WWE. Honestly, in my mind, I don't know who this guy is. I've never seen the CW Arrow show. I'm not a real big superhero guy. I'm not a real big comic book guy. If it's not Batman, if it's not Spider-Man, I don't really care for it. I always root for a good Superman movie to come out, but that last one that came out 2005 or whatever it was, that one was so bad, I don't care if I ever see Superman ever again in my mind. But Stephen Amell has been a great guy to step into the ring for WWE. How they found this guy, how they figured out that he was a wrestling fan, how they were able to work their way into making this match for SummerSlam. I have no clue, but I can honestly tell you that WWE has knocked it out of the park with this one. This is, if it would have been Neville versus Stardust, if it would have been Neville versus Barrett, this is a match that nobody cares about. This is the match that would easily be on the pre-show. Nobody's ordering SummerSlam to see this, but basically, you bring Stephen Amell in, and now we have word that, you know, it's all over these sort of message boards talking about Arrow, all these Steve Amell fans. This is a must-see match for them. Their guy is going into SummerSlam. These are network subscriptions. This is WWE thinking out of the box and knocking one out of the park. Even if these people only subscribe for 1 month and see this one match, they're going to be pushing that WWE network number higher, which makes the network more money, which makes WWE more money, which makes Vince McMahon more money, which in the long run, he turns around and gives us a better network with more shows because the things that are coming along are knocking it out of the park. Take the hat off to Steve Amell. I don't know who this guy is. If he walked into my bedroom right now and started talking to me, I wouldn't know who this guy was, and I'd be trying to push him out the door as fast as I could. But you know, this guy's, I guess, been a lifelong wrestling fan, has always wanted to get into the ring. He's had his chance. He's gone back and forth with him and Stardust on Twitter. You know, he gets some retweets. He gets some attention for WWE. Honestly, it knocks it out of the park. When I think about this match, honestly, the one guy I think about is Neville. This is the match that's basically making this guy a star, this guy, you know, matter more than anything else. And this is one of Triple H's babies coming up out of NXT. You can remember when this guy was battling for NXT, and when he was NXT champion, people were talking about rumors about when this guy was going to debut, what his gimmick was going to be, and basically the word was coming out that Vince McMahon's idea for Neville was that he was going to be a Mighty Mouse character. I don't know. You know, basically that didn't really make sense at the time, but now looking at what, you know, Neville is inside of WWE, the guy is Mighty Mouse, and it freaking works. I think what people were scared about is they thought about the Mighty Mouse cartoon, they thought about the name, and they thought they were actually going to be calling this guy Mighty Mouse. This is a guy that's small, very agile, has a whole lot of moves, he's very built, he's very ripped, he's very strong, and he pulls off being Mighty Mouse. They've given him basically the nickname of the Red Arrow, which goes along with his finishing move. So that's good that he works alongside the Green Arrow right next to him is Steve Amell. And this, you know, when you think about SummerSlam, they're trying to build this up like WrestleMania. And what built up WrestleMania in the past was, you know, having celebrity guests. If it's, you know, Mr. T, if it's, you know, the Rockettes, if it's Muhammad Ali, Billy Martin, Burt Reynolds, you know, the long list of names that have come on that have helped WWE, none other than bigger than Mike Tyson, I guess you can say. But Steve Amell, honestly, as a celebrity, is a guy that I wouldn't have picked to join WWE. And, you know, when the word was coming out, I honestly looked at it as like, this is no big deal. I mean, Stardust versus Steve Amell was one of the first matches that was being rumored for SummerSlam. It was one of those matches that people were talking about before anything else. We didn't know we were going to be getting Undertaker versus Brock. How Wade Barrett fits into this whole mix, I've got no clue. I don't know if this was late planning on WWE's part. Maybe they thought that Steve Amell wasn't going to be able to wrestle a one-on-one match. Maybe they wanted to have Neville be involved. I've got no clue. Maybe they'd rather have Goldust, but Goldust is injured and wasn't able to make the return. But it seemed like Wade Barrett was just picked out of a hat to join into this. But if it gets him any more mainstream attention, I'm all for it. I mean, he might even be the guy that's just picked out of the hat to be the guy who takes the fall out of this deal. But it puts more money because he's on the SummerSlam match, and I'm sure he'd be rather wrestling at SummerSlam rather than just sitting in the back not doing anything. Steve Amell has already said that this is going to be a one-off for him. He's not planned to be in any WWE events. He's not planning on becoming a full-time wrestler. But as the word has gotten out, Steve Amell injured himself. Brian Alvarez talked about it Monday Night Raw when he jumped into the ring. You can easily see his ankle buckle. Very lucky that the ankle didn't break, which would have killed this whole match and everything they've built to at this point. Also, he announced on Facebook during a live video that he had cracked his mouth pretty good and wasn't really able to talk, which I'm sure was going to piss off the people because he was going to shoot Arrow that day. He was doing some sort of a lift with some weights. He was so anxious to get into his workout that he ended up picking the weights up, and the weights smacked him right in the mouth, which broke a molar. He bit his tongue. His tongue swelled up, and so, he was probably messed up for a couple days there. But it honestly really does surprise me that Steve Amell is into the gym, getting into the, the great, perfect shape that he's going to be in for this match. Easily, you got to pick Amell Neville to get the win in this match. I don't really see this one coming anyway, but like I said earlier in the beginning part of this video, take my hat off to Stephen Amell, take my hat off to WWE. This is a celebrity interest inside WWE that really has exceeded my expectations. Definitely, I'm hoping that he brings in some fans that actually buy the network, don't find some sort of a stream or get waiting to see this on Access Hollywood or on ESPN. They actually, buy the show to see the show live and see the actual match and see what this guy can do. My hat's off to him. I wish him all the luck. I'm picking him to get the win. Amell Neville to beat Stardust and King Barrett.